I don't know where. I'm hoping we're showing up in all the spaces. So let's check and see if we are in all the spaces. Hello, hello, you guys. I am here with the most extraordinary woman. And I actually, look, Dora, I gave you a little, let's see if you're here. Dora.
Oh my God, you are ridiculous.
I gave you your own title.
It's ridiculous.
You deserve this. So welcome, you guys. I am so excited that we're here today. This is going to be so incredible. It's going to be such juicy, good stuff that's going on today. And let me see if we're live. Okay, we're live there. Good. I want to actually pop into the group. I'm hoping that most people are catching this in the group. So we've got a little community with like 2,400 people in it. And let's see, are we here? Yes. All right. So yay. All right. We are all here. All the things are happening. Woohoo! This is very exciting. So I'm hoping that everybody knows about you, but my guess is they don't all know you yet. So first, hello, Dora.
Hi, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy President's Day. Some people had the day off from work, school, maybe took a little extended holiday, extended weekend. And I'm so grateful that Dora agreed to show up today because she's got things happening. She's got things in the work. She's got things going on. And I just had to show her off and share her and tell you how blessed and lucky I am to have this woman in my life and that she trusted me to be a little part of her experience. So, Dora, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Sure. So I follow women that I want to be like. So when I met you, you had something that I wanted, and not just your eyelashes or your style. Like you had something that I wanted, and it was like the truth behind the business. It wasn't there wasn't the fluff. It was all value. And I felt that, and I knew that, and all of you that work with Tiffany know that as well. And that's the same type of coach I want to be. So I follow women that I want to be like. But who I am, yeah. So my background was corporate and startups. So I was not an entrepreneur up until 2 years ago. I was not a full-time entrepreneur. I was a high-level exec in finance, and I was a managing partner for a fintech startup, and I was a consultant for years and years. And then one day my sister said, "Hey, since you're exiting that startup, why don't you start coaching?" And to be honest, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know what coaching meant. But I took the consultant cap off, and I decided to jump in and do this thing full time. And about 6 months ago is when I had known Tiffany like throughout, but I didn't officially start working with her until summer. I had some coaches prior to Tiffany. So yeah. And what do I do? And I didn't say that. So because of all my background, I am a full suite business coach. So what that means, full suite, is there's a lot of coaches out there that will help you with piecemeal things. So you're always looking for a coach for helping you with marketing, helping you with messaging, helping you with finance, helping you with profit first. There's so many different things out there.
Right.
And so full suite business coach is that it's your full service business coach. So I help you with the entire roadmap of how you scale your business, from wherever you are, benchmark it, to building it where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the beautiful, amazing thing about Dora. Dora is what she says. She is a full suite business coach. And the result of that is she has packaged her expertise, her experience, and she's bringing it to owners and founders who are in this entrepreneurial space. They know that they want to grow. They know that they want to run capital campaigns. They know that they want to do bigger. And those are the women that Dora's calling in. So Dora, tell everybody where you were when you made the commitment to coach with me. Where were things? What did your world look like? What'd your business look like?
Yeah, so I had a very successful business coaching practice, or it was successful to this point. I was filling my containers, I was working one-on-one, but I also had a failed partnership. I had this partnership that I joined on a whim, and it had failed. And so I was kind of fledgling. It was making, 15 to 20,000 a month, but still like fledgling. So I was like sitting in a diner with my daughter in August and was like, who do I trust? And I trust Tiffany. So I called her up and said, "Hey, I'm ready." After I'd been following her for several months, and said, I'm ready." And she had the $250,000 accelerator. I said, that's where I want to be now. And we started working together.
Yeah. And, I shared in my post earlier that I tagged Dora in. I said, Dora is filled with so much humility, and she won't necessarily show up and just off the bat tell you these things about her. But she is not new to this work. She's true to this work, right? And that's the way a lot of the women I coach and work with arrive. This is not new work for them. They might be pivoting, they might be shifting, they might be stepping into that visionary CEO role, but I work with a lot of women who have been in that executive employee role. They have been very high level. They have been founding members of other companies. They've been part of partnerships, and now they're looking to go out on their own and really step into that visionary CE role position, right? That's such a big pivot. So last year we had this idea that we would put out this 250K accelerator, whether it was the woman who was going for her first 250K season, or she knew that she wanted to add 250K across a quarter. And I wasn't sure, like I said in my post, on this side of the pandemic, in a crowded marketplace, I didn't know, right? The word recession was bubbling up around us. And I was like, well, let's see who goes for this. And Dora accepted the first seat in our 250K accelerator. And that also meant that she got me. She got me as her personal one-to-one coach. And this has been just so explosive, Dora, for our community and for the women that are in my world. It's remarkable to watch. And I just want to celebrate that and affirm or confirm for you that you are doing amazing, impactful work. We talk a lot about revenue and results around here, but Dora is truly doing great work out in the marketplace, talking to women about building real wealth, talking to women about building ethical and sustainable sales systems. And I like this about you, Dora. I like it a lot. So can we talk a little bit about outside of the revenue, because we're going to get to revenue. I know people want to know the numbers and they want to hear some details, but can we talk beyond the revenue, the result, the biggest thing for you that's come out of our coaching time together?
Mm-hmm. So a couple of things there. The one is it's really hard for me to own my own success. And I think that stems from building so many people's businesses for so long, and like shouting their names from the rooftops. And it's just like in my DNA to know how to build a business because I've done it for so long, and it's in my DNA to create these really successful sales leaders. So that's like just it's like how you've been doing your hair for so long, you've been going to the hair salon for so long, riding a bicycle, that's what it's like. So
Right.
but for me to own it myself was really hard because it was just me. It wasn't like
Yeah.
me helping these other
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
So I was grateful for this question because it let me, go there. It let me remind myself that this is way beyond the revenue, that the reward is this audience that I get to support, and the audience has really changed throughout the year, and it really is an audience of women that were like just like me, that were in these high level positions, that have been consulting a long time, or like doctors, executives
Right.
that were making six figures but didn't really get to own it themselves, and
Mhm.
now they can, and they just didn't have those zones of genius. They didn't know how to build a business or how to go and actually scale it with a sales system and process. So that's
Yes.
been really yeah, it's a dream.
It is, right? And so this is what I want you to know about Dora. Dora is like she eats strategy for breakfast. Like I think our first session, Dora showed up and we shared this when we talked about, I don't know, we talked about one of your first big months and it was like 67,000 in contracts, right? And you weren't doing it for someone else's business, you were doing it for your own business, right? You weren't inside a corporate structure. This was Dora is the CEO, Dora is running this and leading the sales for her own company. So I know when we talked about that, we talked about this. You showed up to that first call ready for the strategy, right? Like you've got that on lock and you really understand sales. You truly understand sales. And what I want to do with every one of my clients when they show up, I'm not here to like remake you in my image. I'm not here to say to you, here's my framework, here's my process. You follow this or you won't be successful. Or, download these 39 steps and this is the only way I know how to do it. Because you're an individual, right? And you showed up wildly successful with so much experience and expertise. I wanted you to harness that. So I'm always calling this your unfair advantage, right? And this is truly Dora's unfair advantage. Now, when you coach with Dora, this is one of the benefits that you have that strategic brain looking at your business. You have that woman who understands how to build a sales process. She really gets it. But when you coach with me, right? Like this is a woman who's brilliant in her own right, but she needed someone outside of her to give her a little guidance. So Dora, can you talk about the steps? Like what happened in that very beginning? Because I think at first I said, put away your spreadsheets. Like, I know that you know how to do the spreadsheets. I know that you know how to plan. We'll come back to spreadsheets, and we do, right? When we're looking at the contracts and when we're looking at like the goals that you are crushing, we do look at the spreadsheets. But what happened before the spreadsheets?
Yeah, I think I showed up with like 15 different spreadsheets. She was telling her husband she had never seen anybody do this. She didn't ask me to bring anything to it, but
No.
I had like, here's here's what's going to happen. And
Right.
and she and Tiffany was like, "Well, we need you to set the goal." And okay, I'm good at goal setting. So, let's
Mhm.
set the goal, and then let's break that down. What do you want to sell? And um for a long time I was hearing over and over and over in the coaching market, one to many, one to many, one to many.
Right.
And I was like, I don't really like one to many all that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
we said, well, then don't sell one to many. I'm like, but it's not scalable. And I'm like, oh, well, maybe
Yeah.
it is scalable. So you let me make the decision, and my
Mhm.
decision was, this is what I wanted to sell, and this is what lit me up, and based on the goal and based on what I wanted to sell, I made that decision. And then
Yes.
when you said, "Hey, make this decision," I was like, "Okay, I'm making the decision, but I'm not sure I believe in that decision yet." And she said, "Well, then you're gonna have to believe that you can't, like, through me." So the
Right.
whole borrow your belief came into play. And we
Right.
hear that a lot, borrow belief, but it was like true head to heart, like not just, it had to be head to heart, like that I was gonna make this decision. And
Yeah.
ultimately what that did when I made the decision, that altered that altered my strategy, that altered my audience. So that was like the process. So the first was, what did I write down? The first was the decision, the goal,
Right.
and then the decision. And then it was, okay, now I have to put my process into play, which is like, what's the audience? Who is this audience? What's the volume? What's that going to look like? And then the results, and then putting the whole strategy together. So, and
Right.
then having Tiffany walk me through it when I decided to run before I had anything. Like, I'm a doer, right? So I'm like, oh, good idea, run. Oh, good idea, run. So Tiffany would be like, wait, not sure we should run on this one quite yet. Let's plot this out a little bit before you go and run. That's that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, Dora, that's a funny point you bring up, because Christy said something similar yesterday, right? She said, right, she up leveled, right? She 5x'd her income, her take home. And she said something that happens all the time is that I ask the hard questions, or sometimes we just have the hard conversation. Not that it's painful, not that I'm like berating you, but sometimes I ask you to pause. Sometimes I ask you to tell me, like, why that decision? Where is that coming from? What's that going to do for you? And I'm always bringing you back to your own process, to your own way, not anyone else's way. And I think this is how we scale past unstuck, because Dora was doing great. Dora, you were doing great before I ever got here. You were doing great things. You were hitting 15 and 20K months. And I know there are women who would love to be pulling in that kind of revenue, right? They would love to be hitting those numbers, but stuck is stuck. And you knew that you wanted to reach more people. You knew that you wanted to have a bigger impact, more revenue, more results. And so that was going to involve, right? That was going to involve a pivot. It was also going to involve a decision. And I'm so proud of you for borrowing my belief and trusting. And this is a trust fall, right? Like, this truly is a trust fall, and trusting in the process, that we would go back to what you do so well. Wouldn't be what I do well. It's what does Dora do well? What does Dora do well? And there are some things Dora does really well. A matter of fact, Dora's putting out, don't you have like a new something that's rolling out right now that
I
just really.
do. But I think it's important for, like, even though I have this process, right? It doesn't work unless I show up for my coach. Like, I can get stuck on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And so when I get stuck, I need to make sure that I'm not unstucking myself by myself, because I will stay stuck. So the only way I can get unstuck is through working with you, like,
Right.
and believing that, right?
Right.
Because when I'm left to my own devices without a coach, I will start fledgling. I
Right.
will. Even though I know how to build a business and I know how to do the process and all of that, I've proven that to myself. So,
Right. Right. Right.
right?
Yeah. 1,000%. And this is so, we really curate our community, right? The women who work with me, the women that, we invite in to sit alongside our team are always, I want them to be women who work. I want them to be women who are willing. That's important. Like, I can't teach you that. You either have that or you don't. But I also want you to be willing to show up for yourself and show up alongside me, because I really consider this a partnership. When you come into one of our programs, or when you come into coach with me, it's a partnership. It's not going to work if we can't talk to each other, if we can't communicate. And, you can throw something out there and then I can say, well, yes. Okay. Where's this coming from? Good. Okay. This is good. Let's run with it. So right now you have something new out that this is truly, I want you to share about this, Dora, because I think this is a great example of leveraged visibility, that you're rolling out this new fun thing, because we talk all the time. And next week I'm going to be doing a 2-day boot camp. It's like pitch free. I'm not pitching you to come do anything with me. I'm there to talk to you about how do you make money in your business, right? And we're going to talk about these what I call easy access offers. So Dora is a high-level, full suite business coach. She works with a lot of executives and a lot of founders. And when I say that, I mean these are the people who oftentimes their business is approaching that $1 million mark. They may even like be looking more towards the $2 million mark. They're still a small business owner, but they're a founder and they're looking for these large capital campaigns. They are looking for impact. They're looking to scale. And those are the women that Dora typically calls in. But the knowledge that Dora has, oh my gosh, Dora, you're just so flippin' brilliant. Like you said, I want to share it with people who maybe aren't at that place, right? They're not a founder. They're not someone who's already got the six-figure business. So what is it that you're putting out to people who aren't there yet?
Sure. So I have found that I like to show up in groups. It's one of the reasons why, I really connected with Tiffany is that I really like to show up in groups. And I started a Facebook group probably 2 years ago, and it's quite engaged, but I was delivering religiously things for free for a long time. And so I decided recently that I was going to transition my community where I was showing up daily in the mornings, doing like morning huddles and giving coaching in the morning. And doing really like valuable workshops around all different types of topics, from lead gen to sales to leadership development, all of it. And then I was also having speaker series. Speakers come in and talk about the areas that were not my expertise. So marketing speaker series, finance speaker series. I had a whole 6-week speaker series that was in November. So I just decided to transition that community over to the Women Who Soar Masters and make it my lowest ticket, which is just $200 a year to be in the community. And honestly, it was just because I had been doing it for free for so long. It made sense, and it was the right time to transition it into a paid community. So that's a small container that's open right now, and I'm launching March 1st is when I have my first coaching. So that's the one. But primarily my containers are one-on-one to women founders. And then, one of the things that Tiffany has taught me along the way is to listen to your community, really listen to your community. And I value that before I even put together some brilliant, beautiful framework flagship offer, someone the other day said to me, Dora, what is your flagship? And I said, I don't have one. And they looked at me like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, yeah, because I believe in giving what my community asks me. And it's not really about the perfect, beautiful flagship offer. It's about delivering value and solving the problem for your community. And so my community came to me and said, hey, you don't have any one-on-one openings right now. We would like to work with you in small groups. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So that's what I entertained, was these small groups of women in specifics where I'm still giving them that piece of one-on-one, but through a small group. So I think it's just that's what one of my biggest takeaways from working with Tiffany is that own your own process. And all of that noise out there of other people's processes that I could take a look at and be like, oh, that could work, that could work, that could work. I don't need to do that, because that's why my zone of genius is what it is, because I own my own.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what I always want to encourage people to do, right? I want you to listen to your community, right? When we talk about our 25K in one day process, that's what it is, right? You keep a community. And then we want you to create an irresistible offer, right? We want it to be an easy access offer. We want it to be something that your people are asking for, not something that you've just decided is glorious and beautiful. And this is what I want to teach and coach and train, or this is what I want to sell to people, but that you're creating something that this is what people want. Because sometimes we're really frustrated that we had an idea in our head, but that isn't what people want. People are like, no, I don't want it. So Dora has this new easy access offer that's right, a very low ticket, easy entry, 17 bucks a month, but this is something that feeds and nourishes her people until they're ready for one of her small cohorts or they're ready to step into a one-to-one container with her. And when Dora showed up, she said to me, "I don't want to do one to many. I'm trying to squeeze myself into that and it's making me miserable." And I was like, okay, what if you just don't? Like, what if you just don't? It's not one to many. That's not the work that you want to do. So it isn't the work, right? That she's doing. She's really working one to one and in these small cohorts that are highly curated and really intimate. And like, how does this feel now, Dora? Compared to where you were a year ago, at this time a year ago, how does this feel having built this audience who's saying yes to you?
It feels like it's owned by Dora, that it's that I am the CEO doing what I love to do.
Mhm.
And the people I work with really value that and really recognize that and are loyal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you are showing up with so much joy, right? So when we talk about, own your unfair advantage, it's your process, but also what you like to do. And Dora knew she loved to show up in these groups. She loved to give value. She liked to share. She liked to talk. It's easy. It's easy for Dora. And so that meant that she needed to leverage that. She needed to leverage that. And that's how she's showing up in front of people. So, Dora, can we share a little bit about your numbers?
Yes, go ahead.
So, okay, I should have made like a little ticker for all this so you guys would remember, you would like it'd be flashing in front of you. So, the big acceleration and the big up level. I recall, Dora, when we started, right, when we were underway in September, Dora was testing, she was experimenting, she was trying things out, and she had to be open to that. And I so appreciate that she was, and I value that about her. Again, if you're going to work with me, I have to know that you're going to show up and work, right? And that you will try things, and it's okay if it doesn't work, and it's okay if it takes a little longer than we thought. But Dora was learning at a really fast rate. She was moving really fast. I shared in my post earlier. She is smashing records in our Devolution Nation, in our community, in our paid 250K accelerator, in our, Dora's the reason that now I was like, well, I guess we have to have a 500K $500,000 authority because Dora's going to like outgrow these goals. Dora's going to outgrow all these goals. So Dora was willing and she works. This is not about, wishing and hoping and praying. I talk a lot about social selling, but it doesn't mean that you post something and then you hope that people ask you about it, right? It doesn't quite work that way. So Dora was doing what we were coaching around. She set that goal. She knew the activities it was going to take. She made a decision. She would borrow my belief over and over. And Dora, do you still have days where you doubt?
Yes, yesterday when I messaged you saying, "Am I gonna fill this group?"
Right? Okay. So I just want to get that out of the way because Dora, in January, right now, in this economy, in this moment, so if any of you have excuses or you're like, it can't happen, Dora closed $100,000 in contracts. $100,000 in coaching commitments. Dora closed $100,000 month. And 101. Okay, Dora closed 101. Let's just be clear. Dora closed 101. So Dora, tell me what that felt like. Tell me what that felt like when you realized that that's what you had closed.
Well, in December, near the end of December, I was like, I'm never going to do this. And that's what I was saying to Tiffany. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to hit my goal for my one-to-ones. I want to get to this 10 and I'm not going to get there. And then the end of January, I'm like, I'm full. I have no more one-on-ones. I need to open the group.
Right.
And yeah. So and it's just funny how the roller coaster ride is for entrepreneurs, because I mean, I hit that. I was really excited. I was scared to tell anybody. I really was. I was scared to say it out loud, because I
Right.
didn't want it to come across like gloating or arrogant. It was really concerning for me. So when Tiffany said, "Hey, I want you to go live with me and we'll talk about it," I was like, "Okay, just don't tell anybody like what I made." And then I had to like let that settle in and let it sit in. And then right like a couple of days before I knew we were going live, I'm in another group, a really trusted group of women that I belong to. And in that group, I posted it and I said, this is what I did, this is how much I made, this is how I did it. And I got like the best response in that group. And one of the things that one of the women said to me is, we need you to tell us this. We need you to tell us this, Dora, because it gives us assurance more than hope. It gives us assurance. Like, we know, we trust you, we know you, we see you, we know what you're doing. This is the result. We know if you are doing it, it assures us that we can too. And so I like have to remember that's the reason, not to like, oh, look at me. It is very much like assurance that we can do this. And I have
Yes.
to remember, like, that's what I believe in with when Tiffany tells me that she had her 6-figure launches, like that's the
Right.
same thing, right? I'm following, I have that assurance, right?
Right. Right.
It is just hard for me.
Well, so I'm here to shout out, celebrate, and remind Dora that this is about, putting it in front of other people again. Yes, right. So they can see it. So they know that it's been done. They know that it's happening right now. And I'm not talking to Dora about something that she did 5 years ago. I'm not even talking to about something she did 5 months ago. She literally just closed this 100K month. This was just in January, and she'll break a new record in February. I know. So, but Dora, can I ask you some questions? Because I have like a whole list of like things people wanted to know.
Yeah.
Are you
Go.
ready?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. The first question: did she live launch to get her 100K month? Did you do a launch?
No. I mean, I always do like little lives. I go live in my group all the time, but I did not do a like open cart live launch selling anything.
Okay. No. There wasn't a launch structure. For some of my clients, they love a launch structure. For other clients, that doesn't suit them. Remember, Dora made a decision that she wanted to offer high-level one-to-one and very curated, intimate, small group cohorts. And we were going to lean into that, and we were going to let her experience that, and that's where she was. And so that live launch model doesn't really support Dora. Okay. I love this question. I love this question because this came from someone that is also a brilliant strategist. Is there a sustainable plan for it to happen every month?
Yes.
So the short answer is yes.
Yes,
Dora,
we have that spreadsheet. Do you want to see the spreadsheet? Because it equals 8 groups, small groups, and to maintain the 10 one-on-ones that we'll do consecutive. That's 1.2 million a year.
okay.
That's yeah.
So that's 1.2 million a year. And what I want you guys to know, Dora, this isn't like Dora had a 100K month because she's been coaching with me since August and she was like saving it up. That is not the case. And Dora, I don't have my notes in front of me to say
40, 65, and then so 40K month, 65K month, 100K month. So it's nothing has been saved.
Okay. Y'all got that?
Just January.
Okay. A 45K month,
40K, 65K, and then 101.
Okay. A 40, a 65, and 101. Like this is what's happened for Dora in the last 90 days. It happened across the holidays, which a lot of people are like, oh no, like I don't know if I can sell like in this season, in this cycle. So this is really about putting it in place, putting the strategy in place. And I saw a friend of mine, she calls herself the millionaire maker. And I was like, oh, I like that. I want that title too, right? I want that title. Okay, someone wanted to know how did you do it? How did you do it? So can you give us a couple like tips? People are like,
so there's two ladders. The first ladder that I climbed was having a secure lead gen strategy ladder. So I knew every single week what activities I was going to do to build my lead pipeline. And there were 4 activities that I was always working on climbing that ladder. And they were measured quality audience and quantity volume. So there were 4 activities that I worked on. And then the other ladder that I was climbing while I was doing that was climbing that ladder of making sure that my discussions, that my sales calls, my discovery calls, my conversations were conversations that were going to close. So those are the 2 ladders that I was working the whole time. And that's the area that I shine. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. So as long as you can get the people in front of me, I can sell to them, but I have to have the right people in front of me, right? So I'm working on this ladder over here, uncovering those right people. So when I have them on a call with me, I can convert them.
Right. So, okay. So this was the question, right? This was a question. Catherine wanted to know, what was she making before the launch? So just to reiterate, right? Dora didn't have a launch, right?
There was no launch.
She is turning this into consistent months, consistent revenue. This is happening month in and month out. And I know that we'll pivot, we'll adjust, right? We'll adjust as we move, but this
Can
is
I share
happening.
something there that I think some of the confusion when we hear launch is that we're going to have a launch, we're going to open a cart and people are going to be fed in. And that's called an inbound sales strategy. That's how you make money when you launch and you have enough of an audience, a buyer's audience that's just going to come into your cart. And so I didn't have that. I have what's called an outbound sales strategy. In Tiffany's world, it's the social selling strategy, where you're taking and doing an outbound approach to find your clients and sell to them that way.
Yes. So, and guess what? Because Dora and I love to talk about this so much, we've decided that we're gonna, and I don't want to give you all the details right now, partially just because Dora and I are making some decisions about when and what and who and how, but we're going to share this because Dora's outbound approach, what I refer to as social selling, right? And so social selling is what every business that sells something to someone, they have to have this outbound strategy. It's not enough to just wait for people to walk through your door and say, oh, me, right? I want to buy that bottle of Coca-Cola. It's not enough. You must go out and you must work that market. So let's just return to this. Like, what was Dora doing before this? Before she started coaching with me, Dora was doing 15 to 20K. But I know, Dora, were there still some ups and downs? Did you still have some like low months and some highs and low, like, was it still a little more volatile than you wanted?
Yeah, it wasn't it wasn't going up all the time. It was just like that 15 to 20 was pretty stagnant. It wasn't consistently going up, if that answers your question.
Yeah. So, and again, we don't want to have to move in together tonight. Like, we don't want this to be a slumber party. So Dora and I are going to come back and we're going to share more of this approach. We're going to talk to you about, I just feel like this was an amazing marriage and partnership that Dora and I've been able to do together, because I so believe in the power of social selling. I so believe in reaching out and connecting to people, that there's an ask, an invite, an offer. And too often we go to the offer and we think, well, if I just put my offer out there, everyone will show up, right? They'll all buy what I'm selling. And you miss the mark. And then you're sitting there wondering why you have no sales. So we're going to come back together. Someone wanted to know, someone else wanted to know, how long have you been in business? How long have you been in business? So I think we tackled that.
5
Dora's
years.
hitting the 2-year mark.
Yeah, 2-year like for myself, but 25 doing this stuff.
Right, right. She's not new to this work. She's true to this work. And what I do with every single one of my clients is we take their experience, their expertise, their education, and we bundle that together. And we want to position you. We want to position you in all of your powerful glory in front of people. And we want to say, this is what they do really well. This is what they do really well. And right before we got on this call, Dora had she'd had an onboarding session with a new client, and she made some discoveries about just what a big deal her client is, but also what a big deal Dora is. Dora was really reminded by her own client the power of her process and what she does so well, and how excited her client is to coach with her and to learn and to build on Dora's own process. So Dora's not new to this. Most of my clients are not new to the work that they're doing. And I do feel like that's a benefit, right? I'm not trying to get you to reinvent. Like if you've never sold a widget and you come to me and you're like, I want to sell widgets. Okay, you haven't sold a widget. What have you sold? Like, we're going to talk about other things, right? I'm not trying to work with you when you've never done anything before. That's not necessarily. So if you're someone who's brand new to your own business and you've never had any business experience, reach out to me. I probably have some people to connect you with, but I might not be the perfect fit. I just might not be the perfect fit.
I can say I get really excited about like flexing my muscles as a coach when I work with women's that zones of genius are marketing. So women that own marketing agencies and that are really heavy into marketing, they're so much fun because they really don't know the sales process.
Yeah.
So like that the all of the lingo around launching and carts and all that jargon, it's really fun to work with them because the whole growth strategy of what sales processes even are foreign.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need this and you want this in your arsenal, in your toolkit. Having someone like Dora in your back pocket is really powerful. And I knew that if she was positioned in front of the right people, right? If we could build an audience of buyers, she was going to have no problem scaling. She was going to have no problem. So another question someone has is, well, on this thread, we went into a deep dive about the offer, right? About the offer. Are you selling 4 people 25K or 100 people $1,000? And this and there were a couple back and forths like, this is a totally different it's complicated. They were making it way harder. Like I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So Dora, you sold a combination of offers.
So my offers are very simple. They're one-on-one at 20K, a small group no more than 4 at 6K, and that's it.
Right, and that's it.
There's
not a lot of decision making when people are talking to Dora about how they want to work with her. And I think that's really important. When we talk about building an audience of buyers, you have to make it easy for your audience to decide, right? Easy for them to decide what they want. Okay, you can do this with me, or you can do this with me. And only after Dora had filled her one-to-one, she had a goal. She wanted to have 10 people in there. And only after she filled that, did we start putting real energy into the small group, right? Yeah. We started with the one-to-one. And I know this is kind of the opposite of what you hear in the online space. A lot of people start with that lower ticket, that tiny offer. That isn't where we started. We started with the big one-to-one. We filled that. And then we said, okay, what about the people who you don't have space for them, they can't get in, or it's just not in their budget right now to step into that? What could we give them? Then we started filling that. And only after we were there did Dora say, you know what? I can really continue to build an audience of buyers if I put my master series out in front of them, right? And I give it a nice easy price point, like $200. And that's what Dora did. So I don't want you to think that it's such a different approach. To me, it really isn't. It isn't such a different approach if you're selling a high level premium priced one-to-one, or you're selling a cohort, or you're selling a group program. My clients sell $15 lip glosses and $500,000 houses, like with the same process.
I didn't have, and I didn't have a sales page.
She didn't have a sales page.
I really don't have sales pages. Like it's me. Right. And so, I mean, I have little, like, I have like little landing pages here and there for things, but I don't have this, like, let's build out this beautiful sales landing page and build out this whole cart open. Maybe one day, but that's not what I had.
Right. And that's not what she had right now. And I tell my clients all the time, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck, right? Don't get stuck on the tech. We don't want you to get stuck on the tech. We want to simplify the strategy. We want you to dig in. And I really want you to get on calls. I want you to talk to people. So can we kind of wrap it up here, Dora? Can we talk about the calls? People, I'm like air quoting like crazy.
I'm gonna wrap up with the calls. It's hard to do.
So we're gonna, but let's kind of finish our conversation right here, because this is also a great moment for some of you to decide that you should stop following me. You can leave my communities. You don't have to be around me, because I'm going to upset you, because I'm going to say that I think conversations are very important and a big part of the sales process, especially if you want to step into premium price points, higher ticket, higher level. If you want to create more impact with people, I really believe in the power of a conversation. What do you want to say about it, Dora?
I guess I mean, since we're closing up, I could talk all day about the art of conversation and the simplicity of being able to have a conversation. It is such a novelty to connect with your client one-on-one, because so many people aren't doing it. So we stand out. But what I'd like to say, like, to this day, I still have 8 to 10 discovery calls a week minimum. And that's on top of all of my clients. So I what's it word? I talk what I preach, or I walk the walk.
You walk your talk. Yeah, you walk your talk, right? Yeah. Dora is not here to tell you that, remember, she just said, like, she didn't have a landing page. She didn't have a multi-step funnel. She wasn't trying to just move people through without connecting with her, without having real conversation. And I mean, I'm the same, right? Dora and I had conversations. I'm not afraid to have conversations with people. And yes, as my business has expanded and as we've grown, I'm not always the one having all the conversation, right? We have team, I have associate coaches. Like, there are other people in our community who are part of the conversations, but this accessibility, to me, I don't know a lot of 7-figure business builders and who do this, right? A lot of them are like, I'm sitting here on high, good luck. You'll watch me in a recorded something, like, it'll never be live unless I'm on a stage and, you paid a big ticket to see me on stage. And that's fine. And that has a place, but I really want people to get to talk to me, and I want to talk to them. I want to know what they're all about. And if I told you that you could have sales conversations, that you could get to know people, that you could have coffee chats, and you could leverage those, you could leverage that visibility. Because Dora, what happens in these conversations, even if you're not moving someone into, maybe you just don't have a spot for them right now. Maybe there's nothing for them, or maybe you're just not in their budget right now. What comes out of these conversations?
Trust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And credibility.
Yeah. Real trust and real credibility. And not only has Dora has not only leveraged the visibility in her own group, in her own community, but Dora has leveraged the visibility that she has and that credibility in other people's communities, because Dora is a real person to so many of the women in these communities. They've been on calls with her. They've talked to her. They've gotten to know her. She's a real person. She gives value. She shares. Dora, are you ever afraid of like giving away too much information in these conversations?
No, I say it all the time, over deliver, bring more value. Because what will happen is when you share all of that, they're going to need you to help them implement.
Right.
Like, even though like Tiffany doesn't have my answer, but
Right.
I need her to help me implement.
Right.
So when we hold back, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Over deliver, because they need you.
Right. Right. Absolutely. I just realized I don't know how to spell conversations. You guys, forgive my dyslexia. This should like just encourage you. Show up and go talk to your business besties. So you just cannot over deliver. I just think there's no shame in showing up to talk to people and to support them. The best people and the people that you are meant to work with, they will find you, and they will come back and they will say, okay. I had people, well, Dora's a great example. I mean, Dora, we talked more than once.
Yeah, a lot. And I had to have my failed partnership.
And Dora had to move through some things. And, I feel like there was trust there on my end. I felt like there was a lot of warmth and there was a lot of trust. And so because that existed between us, then it was so much easier to start talking about, when do you want to work together? How do you want to work together? Right? It wasn't a weird thing at all, right? It wasn't a weird thing. Speaking of sales conversations, are you doing something tomorrow still?
Oh, yeah. I have a little free workshop. It's called the How to Host a Non-Salesy Sales Conversation. It's at 4:00 tomorrow, Eastern Central
Oh
Time.
my God. How do people find out about it? How do people get to attend?
They can just DM me, say, hey, can I get an invite to that workshop tomorrow? Because I need to know how to sell on a call. That's what it is. How to sell on a call. Any call.
Any call, how to sell. And you guys, I believe so much in Dora and the work that she does. Not only is she my client, and I'm honored to be in this position as her coach, but I've asked Dora, would she please come in as one of our member mentors, as part of our success squad, and start sharing some of these tools and techniques inside our paid community. And Dora's going to be here with us. I don't think she's going anywhere. I hope not. I don't think she's going anywhere. So when I say to you, like, Dora's hosting this workshop, you should go. I mean it. Like, you should go. Like, go watch, go take notes, go implement, because Dora's going to give you real action items. She's going to really give you something to do. She's the queen of the non-salesy sales conversation. She makes it so comfortable, so simple. It's a gift. And this woman is proof. This is proof. A 40K month, a 65K month, a 100K month, 101. Sorry. I don't want to short you. That $1,000 is important. You earned it. So, Dora, is there anything before we say goodbye? Is there anything we didn't say?
No, thanks so much. This was lots of fun. More to come.
More to come. Dora and I spend a lot of time together. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to share her with all of you. I want you guys to meet her. I want you guys to know her. And I wanted you to see what is possible. What is possible. The last thing I want to ask you, I know I said we were going to go, but Dora, were you a little bit nervous when we started coaching, or were you afraid of the investment or worried at
Oh
all?
God, I totally was afraid of the investment. I was so scared to give that money away. I'm like, no, I don't want to give the money away. And it just reminds me of like what it feels like when people give money to me. Like it's like I'm afraid. I'm taking this risk. I don't know.
Yeah,
What if, right?
right, right,
And 10 times, right? I was making, 10 to 20K a month. And I just had, 4 months later, 100K a month. So
right.
take the risk. Just do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Take the risk. I mean, Dora has 10x her investment, right? Across just 90 days, Dora has brought in $200,000, right? Dora has done what Dora said she was going to do. She set out to add another $250,000 to her bottom line. She's doing that, right? She's doing exactly what she said she would do. So, if you want to talk to me about it, like reach out, like chit chat with me. We're going to do a workshop. We're going to have plenty of fun workshops. We're going to have a business boot camp. Dora's got her non-salesy sales conversation. Y'all should get there because I think it's going to be the bomb. I got to clear my schedule, Dora. I want to be. Can I come? Is it okay?
Yes.
Can I be there?
Yeah, I'll add you to it right now.
I want to be there. I love
Yeah,
Dora's teaching and coaching
I'm
and training.
I'm
I'm
adding you to it right now.
good. Let me come. I want to, like I'm a party crasher, but I want to be there. I
Yeah.
always learn so much. I have the best clients. Thank you, Dora, for being with me. I'm so grateful to you. I love and adore you, my friend.
Thanks. Bye all.